Greetings and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents, you know what day it is. Comic Book Talk with Friends Monday, a glorious day. It's beginning of the week. Monday's always a drag, but we try to make it do what it do. So again, thanks for everybody who's actually in attendance and actually here to watch today's show. We are excited about it. Again, we had such an amazing show pop off on pretty much last Wednesday. A surprise, actually a surprise, not really a surprise to me, but a surprise to others. It is MCU, so like I said, in Feige we trust, and on top of that it's Miss Marvel. If you've read the books, very interesting book, very interesting character. So we're going to dive in tonight. I thought it was an excellent show. It's an excellent start of a show so far. Did catch a bit of a lightning in the bottle type of situation, but we have to see as it goes by. So like I said, I don't want to kind of like jump the gun, but I think it's going to be a decent show. I'm excited. That first show had me hooked from the word go. So yes, I'm excited about it. So of course, glad to have you here. We have the amazing panel here, one of which was at the beach in a pair of jeans. You know what I mean? He was at the beach. Listen, he was at the beach.
Don't misrepresent.
He was at the beach. He was at the beach in a pair of jeans in the water. You know what I mean? So I had to get on him about that, but I let him tell it anyway. Everybody, thank you for basically being here. The panel is always here, always love. Guys, what's going on with y'all today? I'm gonna save you last, butt naked, because we're gonna jump into that beach story. Vinny, what's going on with you, brother, man? How you doing, man? Besides the room and besides the work duties and stuff like that, man, we know you got. What's funny? I was driving along I was going to the gym, and actually I took the back road past. Like I took the back road like from my house. I went up Colonial Road. Took the back road behind the old Applebee's and just got on Unipo. So I'm back there, bro. I saw some dude landscaping and I looked real close. I was like, yo, that kind of looks like V. So I had to circle back around. I was like, nah, that's not him. And the reason why,
because I was in the area too,
bro. But the reason why I thought that is because he was mowing the lawn. And on the lawn, like on the other side, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chairs full of women. I was like, yo, is that V? Is that V? But it was like, nah. I circled around. It wasn't you. I was like, yo, he probably had the ambiance. He had to create the ambiance while he was.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That there's different crews doing different things. So, many balls in the air, lots of judgment.
Man.
I'm good, man. I'm just trying to keep all the plates spinning, bro. Just keeping up with everything and busy as part of the season, just staying on top of things. Loving all the content, all the new shows and everything like that, man.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to dig into hearing what everybody thinks of Miss Marvel. And the boys is on fire. I just binged off Peaky Blinders this weekend. That show is just insane. It's so fucking good. But yeah, man, just busy, man.
Oh man, great, man. So good to have you here. Jedi Pimp. My man Jedi Pimp is in the building. Pimpacious J. What's going on with you, bro? How you doing, man?
Another day, another 28 cents, man. You know how it is, man.
Yeah.
Blessed to be here with you boys tonight, man. Can't wait to get into this little conversation. I know it's going to be interesting. But we'll see where it goes, man. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited.
Definitely, man. I'm definitely excited, bro. I saw some of your Miami picks, man. You in Florida, man, and you're, laid back with your lady and stuff like that. You always decked out with the curly hair. I was like, you the military Carl Thomas. So I was like, yeah.
I'll take that one.
I was like, yo, this dude's laid back, smooth, bro. He is the geek world, the collector's world, Carl Thomas, my man. Always, man. So good to have you here. And last but not least, man, this guy, I'm on social media, man, and I'm like, I'm just kind of following my busy day. Yesterday was a busy day. Today was a busy day. But yesterday, I got a chance to live vicariously through this guy at the beach. Nice little view and stuff like that. Had the kids out. So I saw him standing up there. He took a picture with the kids in front. I'm like, wait a minute. Do I see some jeans? I'm like, come on, man. You in the water with some jeans on, brother? Come on, man. That's a foul. That's a foul. It's a flagrant. Come on, man. Take them jeans off. Get you some shorts on, man. Tell the story. Tell the story. Tell the story.
Misrepresenting my shit. Like this is like it's not like I was like out swimming. Like it was early morning on Sunday morning, and we were just taking my kids for a walk along the beach. Yeah. And it was only like 68 degrees out at that time in the morning, and I was just like jeans and barefoot and a t-shirt, just walking comfortably, nice weather along the beach. Yeah. And then my feet started getting like splashed by the water as my kids wanted to go further in to get seashells and colorful rocks and stuff as kids want to do. I got like 3 buckets of them at my house now. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with them, but so as you know, eventually it's like you know, early on you're like, all right, well, I'll kind of try and stay back a little bit so my jeans don't get too wet or something. And then a tide catches you and you're just like, oh, well, fuck it. So then I was just like knee deep in the water wearing jeans because, you know, whatever. I didn't feel like going back to the beach house to change at that time. But yeah, it was a really good weekend. We got to, my buddy owns his beach house and his private beach. And so we got to go and I was filming a promotional rental video for him. See, now we're going to,
Booty jeans.
And so we got to stay down there for 4 days or so and just have some good time with friends and family, and it was really nice. And I happened to, just for you, Lael, I happened to come across this really good like grocery store that had this really good deli and butcher shop, and so I picked something up to bring back. I picked something up to bring back home that I cooked when I got home. Mm-hmm. And so just for you, this is the bone from my steak tonight.
You just had to.
This is all that's left of a 3-pound tomahawk steak. 3-pound tomahawk. Look at that, baby. Look at it. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay. I see it. I'm glad you love your bone. Anyway, Thank you for being here, man. Thank everybody out there. And Jason, just for you, bro.
Yes.
Happy belated Carlisle Day, bro. Happy belated Carlisle Day to you, man. Straight up,
Listen, man.
Day, Superman, man. How did you celebrate happy belated? How did you celebrate your Carlisle Day, bro?
Well, I had on my t-shirt. I had the tee on all day long, and I took pictures, but I got it on my page. Superman, that's my boy. And I'm getting ready. I got my stuff ready for Jim Lee because he's going to be here next month. I cannot wait. To
What's
our
he doing
SuperCon.
There? Okay.
For SuperCon. So I'll see him. Next month? I think on that first week. I think it's the 10th or the 12th, something like that. But I got my tickets I got the whole Jim Lee booth, man.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I can all my Superman stuff. I'm ready. That whole Hush. I got the whole Hush, the poster book. I bought it from Barnes and Nobles, bro, for $30. Big poster book, Jim Lee poster book. I got to get him to sign. I cannot wait to get him to sign my stuff, man.
Is he the headliner for the artists?
He's the
headliner for the artists. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I haven't got a chance to meet him at a con. I'm looking forward to hopefully someday doing it. This year at Fan Expo Boston, I'll get to meet Frank Miller. So that'll be fun.
That'd be dope, man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be there. So I'm looking forward to that. Lael, if he gets his butt up here, we'll be able to meet him too. Just saying.
Yeah. So he's going to try to get to sign your stuff now, man, because he's done. He's one of the dying breeds of comics, man. Frank Miller, like that whole Dark Knight Batman run, bro, was like bestiality for him, man.
I'm looking forward to that. It'll be fun. But yeah, Jim Lee is a cool one to be able to go see, man. I haven't had a chance.
I can't wait, bro. I'm excited, man.
Ooh, that's sexy.
So,
yeah. Oh, that's the Jim Lee joint.
Wizard World.
Oh my god.
It was
whatever year Batman, bro.
Whatever year Batman Begins came out. I can't remember.
That was like 2008, I think.
2008.
Yeah.
Right, so Philly Wizard World that year had a panel where you listened to them talk about the new Batman Begins movie. They showed the trailer, and then what they did was everyone who was at the panel got in the raffle, and you either got to jump in a bus and head over to the IMAX theater and got to see Batman Begins 2 weeks early, or you got this baby.
Whoa.
So there's only about 200 of them made or something like that. And everybody who didn't get to go over to IMAX to see Batman Begins early got one of these. I took mine and went straight over to the CGC booth. And it was hilarious because at the panel, they were like, do us a favor and like, let's try not to find all these on eBay the next day. Let's give everybody a minute. So I brought it over there, and this first time I had anything CGC, anything at all. I brought it over there because it was like my first experience with it, but it was a Jim Lee sketch cover. I was like, I'll get to see Batman a million times in my life. I'll never get one of these. So that was fun.
Where'd you get that frame for your CGC case?
eBay. There was a seller who has a little store where he has has frames for CGC cases, and it's really, really convenient because it just has a top loader, and then you can get a nail and then just put it in and just slide it over, and that's how I have some of my CGC cases displayed on the wall.
Dope.
I gotta do that, man. I have like 20 of them things. I don't have no like way to like. I don't want to just hang them on the wall in the case. I want to get something like that, man.
Right, because that's the thing. You can't. There's no really way, because it's tough to just put it on the wall. Yeah, because I wanted something that would protect it on top of just hanging it up. So I checked around.
That's why I have a
couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything commercially produced when
it's really hard.
Yeah. So
and if you get something, you want it to like be like UV protected and stuff because the actual CGC cases aren't UV protected.
Not at all.
It's in a room that pretty much the only time light is on in the room it's in is if I'm doing this. And otherwise, this room is usually dark or if I'm drawing. So not much time light gets in this room. So it's protected as could be. Otherwise, I wouldn't put them up on a wall if it was in like a living room or a bedroom or somewhere where it gets light often. So.
And that's like one of my biggest, like, especially like when we go to cons and you see like, cause those lights, like iridescence, those things are bright, and the way they actually hit, especially like for a while, if you have them exposed for a while, and a lot of them are exposed for a long period of time. So I just be wondering, like, how are you protecting?
Those you mean when people are at cons?
Yeah.
You mean the sellers?
Yeah.
They don't keep it
because they have them out on the table, bro, for hours, bro.
But they have them out there for like hours, especially during the cons.
Hours.
Like they'll have them like
hours is okay. Hours at a time is okay. It'd be if it was a daily thing. That would be
And the other thing too is it's more damaging if it's daylight. If you have like decent quality lights, like especially these days, like LED lights and stuff like that we have in like collection rooms and stuff, you're gonna be okay.
Is what's more dangerous.
It's exposure to long-term sunlight. That's the issue, and I make sure that like my collection, like there's no sunlight coming into this room at all. It's only artificial.
For some of the CGC guys are there for like 3 days at a time, though, bro. And then stuff be out like for hours.
And that's okay. That's it would if it was in a very well like super lit room with fluorescence and you had them out daily. Then eventually, years and years and years and years it would take for that to be an issue.
Well, see that my comic book, like especially over there at Comics Connection, they keep their CGCs in a black. So they have a case, but on each side it has a black panel that doesn't reflect.
That's how my boys
from the outside. Yeah. So you can't see. Like the thing is, they're further back,
but they probably have like storefront windows and then the door that opens and sunlight coming in, so they want to
storefront.
If they don't have a lot of natural sunlight coming in, like if it was just in like a back room or something that didn't have any windows, they wouldn't need to put black paneling on the sides because it's the sunlight and prolonged exposure to the sunlight. Like at a con,
and that's why you see at most cons they'll actually have like those black curtains to kind of separate
the black curtains,
they keep them, they'll have them separate like just the walls, like especially if you're walking past and stuff like that. I mean it's interesting, man. Like I
because I read a lot about it before I put them up because I wasn't worried about the light. So I felt comfortable that it wouldn't have been enough to really be an issue.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick though,
let me address on eBay though.
Yeah, let me address the chat.
There's no one commercially sells those. I found somebody who just makes them and sells them.
Let me address the chat real quick. And then we'll actually jump into everything. We got Charlie the Unicorn out there, man. Thank you for being here. Tobar, Keith, my man. Thank you for being there, bro. Can't wait to see you again. We got Louis Labitz. We got Mr. McPickle in the building. We got Yuli, second kid is in the building. Thank you for being here. Renz Talentino, as always, get off my lawn is out there. Thank you for being here. The storm is coming is in the building. Thank you for that, man. Let's see here. Who else we got? Oilers Workshop is in the building. Malika Mabane, thank you for being here, man. Two Ferns. Traveling with Ethan is actually out there. Thank you for being here, man, as always. CT603 is in here. We got FBJ in the building. Thank you for being here. Windman42 is out there. My guy, thank you for being here as always. We got AJ Agruz in the building. Thank you for being here. And also we got a new member, Mike Rodriguez. Thank you for being a new member to the channel, man. As always, do appreciate you. So we definitely love that. Anyway, yeah. So before we jump into the main topic, man, let's jump into like just one quick sort of quick thing that I wanted to address off the top. Again, like we got the news last week, and I honestly couldn't believe that we would actually get this news, but we did. And it's somewhat exciting, but also like really terrifying at the same time because I'm like, yo, they have to get this right. They have to get it right. They have to do it right. It can't just be any team. You can't just pick any team. It has to be the right team, and it has to make sense. But I was excited nonetheless. And that was the announcement that we are going to get a Thunderbolts film. Now, here's the thing. How they're going to do it is one of the biggest questions. Who's going to be part of the team is another question because we've had different iterations of the Thunderbolts. One of my favorite characters from the Thunderbolts, of course, or a few of my favorite characters, of course, was, in the shape of, of course, a Songbird. We had, of course, Abomination. We will, of course, I'm guessing, depending on how they do it, we'll probably see Baron Zemo. I don't know if they're setting up the team based on what we've already gotten. We did have U.S. Agent as part of the team at one point. Ain't even Bucky Barnes himself was part of the Thunderbolts. So it's going to be interesting to see what iteration that they choose. Exactly. But here's the thing with William Hurt passing, are they going to recast or, that's one of the biggest things.
Could go back. They could go back to the first Hulk and hit in that version of Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could, because there was two iterations of Thunderbolt Ross, right?
Well, no. The first one was that was in the Ang Lee, Eric.
He was Ross though.
Eric Bana,
yeah, but they're not gonna. I don't see them going back to that. Like that was a pretty universally panned kind of. I can't even remember who played him in that movie. But
my boy from Roadhouse.
Sam Elliott.
Oh my God,
was it Sam Elliott?
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, Sam Elliott is good. But he's also gotten way up there in age too. He's like pushing 80 now, and he's older than William Hurt was, and so I don't know if they'd want to do that. I think at this point you got to recast, This is, and I mean, we've all said that we kind of think that they should have recast T'Challa, but they didn't. But this is a different situation than T'Challa because this wasn't like Chadwick Boseman. He was like the core of he was Black Panther. He was T'Challa. William Hurt was a great actor, but Thunderbolt Ross had nowhere near the presence in the MCU by and large that T'Challa had in his short time. So I think especially to the average fan who's not necessarily up on the comics. So I think you can recast and it not make big waves. So my hope would be that they would recast and still have it, Thunderbolt Ross and maybe a Red Hulk in there.
That's what I'm saying. Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean the damn team is named after him. You got to recast.
Yeah, you got it. Like
that's what I'm saying. You got to print it. Yep.
what is it, like somebody else is going to come in and lead the team, but they're going to be like, it's going to be an homage to, Thunderbolt.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Like that would just feel cheesy. So they got to they got to do something, I think, and just realize that this is a situation where it was tragic that he died, but you got to recast because you're going to run into these road bumps, in this as you continue with the MCU. So you have to get used to the idea that you're going to have to occasionally recast. And so
we have a universe where it's unlike every other attempt at comic book universe that hasn't been rebooted with that opportunity to recast people. So you're obviously going to run into issues where when you have 20, 30 movies in rotation and TV shows and all this stuff, there's going to be people who get hurt, pass away, want to do something else with their career. It's going to happen. You're going to have to recast. I mean, you can't wait for a reboot to popular anything. It's not an issue with DC because they reboot so often, so they're not trapped. But they're in a situation where when people pass or opt out, want to do other stuff, they're going to have to just recast, and people are going to have to get over it as Hollywood.
Yeah. You know who would be a good Thunderbolt, Ross? I'm blanking on his name. The dude he was in Avatar.
Stephen Lang.
You're talking about
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang would be a good Thunderbolt Ross.
I had
He'll
wanted
be terrific as Thunderbolt Ross.
I'd always wanted him for Cable, but he'd work
he'd
work as him too, because
he would be a dope Thunderbolt Ross.
He
bro.
would.
And listen,
he would. He has the mindset for it.
He is in shape.
He is definitely in shape.
Yep.
He is definitely in shape. So
this film too is also an opportunity, I would hope, because to me, I think, we look at this lineup and we like it and we like all these iterations, but the immediate, glaring issue is Taskmaster. Yeah. And so, but this could be a good opportunity. I would not because like I hate as much as other people do the version of Taskmaster that was in the Black Widow movie. I'm not in love with it, but I understand what they were trying to do there.
Yeah.
What I think though, this would be an opportunity for them to maybe kind of do a little bit of retconning, because that character is not interesting enough to be part of this team and have a dynamic with them based on the development we've got for that female character so far. Yeah. But this could be an opportunity where, because it was like the Taskmaster protocol, right? But maybe they based what, they kind of robotically did with her on the actual Taskmaster's abilities, and maybe we see the real Taskmaster in the Thunderbolts movie, and that's a way to bring him into the MCU as Tony Masters, and we still get the original. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that, but if they were going to include Taskmaster in any future content, I would hope that that's the route they would go.
The thing that scares me is the person who wrote Black Widow was writing this, which has me just... I went from awesome to so this definitely a mixed reaction for me, because I don't want something that's terrible as Black Widow.
That's
the same writer.
Yeah, but there have been writers
for the Thunderbolts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing,
some
though.
Really good movies and some really bad movies too.
But here's the thing:
it's going to be the combination of the writer and the director. So let's see who they bring in to make this movie.
Here's the thing. Okay, so if it's the same writer of Black Widow, to me, honestly, the writing wasn't as bad as people want to think it was. I think the choice in the narrative was sort of like. I think one of the biggest issues that they had, again, was Taskmaster. But had we actually seen Taskmaster in the form that it should have been, what I mean by that is you can keep it as a woman if you want to go that route, but just show us the shape of a woman. It would have made more sense if you did something like that. They didn't. Yeah. But I didn't. It wasn't one of those situations where I didn't enjoy the film, because I did. I had fun watching it. It was just certain choices that. So again, that's and the thing is, we got to keep in mind that writers turn in different iterations of a story. It's up to the company themselves, Disney themselves, and Marvel to say, okay, this is the iteration that we actually want. You know what I mean? This is what we want to go with. It's not to dispel that writer, because the writer because you again, you had one writer, you know, in Ryan Johnson, who wrote, you know, and co-wrote the treatment for what we got was The Last Jedi. But then he wrote Knives Out, and that was a brilliant ass fucking film. I love Knives Out. Yeah. It was incredible. So when I think about that, it's just like restraints that they are given as writers to write certain stories. So if they allow them to write the story that they want to write, and at the same time, if they do the research, because here's the thing, they have already set that ground play for us, because again, it might not even be the iteration that we see right now. Taskmaster might not even be a member. It could be Ghost. They might have Ghost in that place.
Ghost is likely on it. And agreed. Like possibly, there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen when it comes to a studio film like Black Widow, but attaching, like making a point when they announce this to say that the Black Widow writer is attached as if that's a huge selling point is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, because I was confused for a second, so I just looked it up though. But this guy that Eric Pearson that they say is penning the script, he wrote the script for Black Widow as well, but it was based on the story that was generated by two other people. So that's where it's like, you know, is he actually coming up with the story and writing it? Right. Is he writing it based on
somebody else
that is generated by other people, like happened with Black Widow? So maybe he's actually a pretty good writer, and he was working with the story idea so we don't know.
It's just
that could happen. That could happen.
But that's just part of the game, though. Like if Black Widow was amazing, we'd be excited that they have the Black Widow writer. So the opposite could be true if it's a bad film. Like you're gonna have to kind of just prove yourself, and he'll absolutely have the opportunity to. I'm, ain't like I'm not gonna go watch.
I didn't hate the movie, man. It's just that
he was a writer on Agent Carter, the show Agent Carter, which I actually liked.
But. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, see, all right. For instance, okay, so we got the iteration that. All right, I'll give you an example. So we attached the Russo brothers to both Infinity Wars. We attached them to the Winter Soldier. We attached them to the Endgame. Phenomenal films, but then we see 21 Bridges.
Oof. You didn't like it?
No.
I like 21 Bridges though, bro.
I actually enjoy. I didn't.
I liked it. Destroy was in it too.
No, because the pacing of that film to me, man, it was just the pacing that was wrong to me. That's just my opinion. It just felt. Because the thing is, it was like it felt like we were watching two different stories.
Yeah, it's like very different than what we've come to expect from them after Winter Soldier, Civil War. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. But
I liked
it,
bro.
It was very different from those movies.
So
but
it was different in the simple fact that I felt as though I was watching two different films in one. Okay. That's why it was different for me, and it just felt disjointed, and it was hard to follow at points. And it didn't do as well. It wasn't as well received. Again, writers. So that's what I'm saying.
Critically, it wasn't that well received. Too,
it wasn't that well received.
Theatrical release either.
Exactly. So, and it, again, pandemic hurts a lot of things as well.
Also, remember that, so Black Widow, they made changes to Taskmaster that people weren't thrilled with. But it's not like that. It's not like the people who were responsible for Black Widow were the only ones who've done that. Because as much as we all love the Russo brothers, I think most comic book fans agree that they did not like what the Russo brothers did with Hulk.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have
there
a choice,
is some. Yeah. But things like that happen behind the scenes. So because this guy didn't, maybe hit a home run with Black Widow, I'm still waiting to see who the characters are that they're casting, as well as who they get to, who's going to be directing. And I think they actually said that it was Jake Schreier, I think, is the guy that they brought in to direct. So, it's a matter of seeing. Winman 42 is saying the Russos did not write or direct 21 Bridges. I'm pretty sure they did. That was
they didn't. I looked it up. They might have been producers, but
it was marketed on that
it was marketed that they wrote it. So if they didn't, that was
It was marketed that the story
the director was Brian Kirk, and the writers were Adam Mervis and Matthew Michael Carnahan.
Okay, well,
that's weird.
The way they marketed it was
any of those guys. It was all like
they
from
produced
the Russo brothers.
They're two of the producers, though. That's odd.
Yeah, that's really odd.
I don't know.
That's really.
I like that film.
I mean, again, it's all things subjective, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, case in point, we have certain writers. Writers aren't going to always get it right the first time. You know what I mean? They may learn from their mistakes and say, okay, this is how I want to do it this particular time. But that does tell me that if they were the writers, that again, if they were the writers and they were the writers for that were chosen for this film, then it is quite possible that we may see Taskmaster again.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you got to remember though that the people who are hired to like write a script in Hollywood, not like depending if you have a certain amount of cachet, if you've been around and like you're a hot commodity, they might be able to like, okay, come in, tell us a story that you want to write, now write this. But a lot of times these writers are hired and said, okay, we've got the story treatment. This is the story that we want to tell. Now you come in and write the script for this story. So they're not always given carte blanche to come up with something amazing. They're working within those confines. So it's hard to tell, from one movie to the next, because there are guys who have written movies that were absolutely horrible, and then the next one is amazing. So
amazing,
it's all subjective. It's all
in their setting. The thing is, the stage has already been set. We saw it at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. When we did get the U.S. agent, we saw it also pretty much. What was that at the end of, again, Black Widow? You know what I mean? Everything is actually being set and leading towards, and was here's my thing is, this is what my fear is. Don't try to make, in which we know the team is kind of modeled after, but don't try to make the MCU Suicide Squad. Don't do that.
That's what it's looking like, man.
Like,
don't do that. Don't do it.
That's what it's looking like.
Like,
they are. But here's the thing.
I don't want to hear funny banter.
Nah, don't.
You're gonna have it.
Nah.
But
you're gonna have it.
We're going to.
You're gonna have it, bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna have the jokes.
Yeah,
I don't want to see. I don't want to get a competition. Put it that way. I don't want to see that portion of it, and that's the only thing, because we don't necessarily need it.
I'm glad that they're not deciding to not do it because there's a Suicide Squad out. Because I don't want to run into that.
I do want to see.
I don't want Marvel saying, "Oh, we can't do Namor because there's Aquaman," or "We can't do Quicksilver because there's a Flash." Like, I don't want that. Like, if you have a character that's similar to a character in DC, and you have a good story for him, can do it. Comic book fans deal with that shit all the time.
Do it, and they can do it. But what I'm saying is, don't reach. Don't reach. Tell your own story. Just don't reach.
I think that's what they're going to do, because Kevin Feige has never wanted to be like, we're doing the MCU version of something that DC and Warner Brothers. He's sidestepped that. He's never tried to be like, we're doing the MCU version of such and such. So I think, if anything, I think they're gonna go out of their way. That's why they're not like hiring James Gunn to direct this because he did Suicide Squad, right? No, they're. I think this is gonna be. I don't think this. It's gonna have comedy. It's gonna have jokes. It's a comic book movie, but I don't think it's gonna be anywhere near as heavy as a lot of people think. I don't think it's gonna be a lot like Suicide Squad, because I think Kevin Feige's got the right head on his shoulders when it comes to this. I think he's gonna want to make something that is different, that isn't going to be compared to Suicide Squad. It's just going to be its own thing, and because he doesn't even want a DC property in the conversation. It's like, no, this is all Marvel, and that's, I think, the right approach, and I think that's what they're going to do. It's a matter of the team that they pick and how they handle those, the story development, the character development, because you realize, like, we haven't gotten a ton of character development from any of these. I mean, the most would probably be Yelena and John Walker.
U.S. agent.
John Walker, and Emil as well. We did get a development from him, because they're still going to use that material.
Not a lot, but that was also pre-MCU, essentially, though.
But they're still going to use that character, though, and they're still going to probably use his development. because we're seeing him kind of, and we know that he's been kind of peppered in, and we're going to also see his development in She-Hulk. So that's coming before, we get to that film. So they've been, and the thing is, I know Feige's been setting the stage for this for a while now.
What's the leader of the team?
Of what?
Who do you think is the leader?
Is it Baron? Is it Zemo?
I think they're going to use Baron, man.
They're going to use Baron Zemo, probably.
But it's like, then you've got like John Walker. What's going to be the dynamic with if he's not the team leader? They were also talking about like, is Bucky in this at all? How, because he's been on the Thunderbolts team before, he's led them. So like,
that would be dope.
Where is he going to factor? But again, it's a matter of how they look at this team, because
that would be dope. As a matter,
they're supposed to be bad guys. So certain characters, it's like, well, do you put Yelena on there if they're supposed to be like bad guys?
That's part of the tough part with Marvel. They go out of their way kind of to make all their bad, all their villains likable and lovable. It's like sometimes you gotta like just let them be evil.
Because I'd like to see this lead into Dark Reign, like the Dark Avengers and stuff. But like, Yelena doesn't really, fit that mold. If we, she's gonna kind of take over for Black Widow. It's like she's a likable character.
Why are you with the Thunderbolts?
The others you can still see all being villainous. But her, I don't know. Again, it's just a matter of what direction they decide to go in. Are these going to be bad guys, or are they going to be kind of anti-hero type?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be anti-hero stick.
Yeah,
but
I think
Blonsky, he's going to change it back in She-Hulk, right?
What
they had him out. He wasn't. I heard with She-Hulk, he changed back to Blonsky, right?
Yeah, he'll be back as Blonsky.
He'll be back
and
in
the Abomination.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the whole.
He's
okay,
so
that's true then.
It is. How
they didn't put him in Shang-Chi for no reason.
What'd you say?
They didn't put him in Shang-Chi for no reason.
Oh no, they definitely didn't put him in Shang-Chi.
That's what I'm saying. He'll be changing back and forth, man. That'll be dope, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like they've set the stage which each villain or anti-hero for a minute. They've actually planted these seeds in different parts. So again,
here's the thing though, with him in like She-Hulk, for example, this is one of the things that makes me nervous, and I don't know if they're gonna evolve and do something different and kind of maybe steer back with the way we want them to with Hulk. But the Hulk of Infinity War Endgame cannot stand toe to toe with Abomination. Cannot.
Hell no.
He can't.
Hell no.
So if you're gonna have Blonsky in the MCU, specifically in the same show as Banner, on She-Hulk, but then beyond in the MCU, if you're gonna like, he's a Hulk villain, and the Hulk from that movie with what's his name,
Ed Norton
was amazing. But even he struggled with Abomination. The Hulk that we have right now cannot stand toe to toe with Abomination. No. You just can't.
But if that's only if they use him, if he's a villain, or they might use him as an anti-hero, or use him as somebody that comes in to helps out.
I'm more like, I don't want to see them in the same property, even if they don't fight. If side by side, you're like, they're not fighting, but Abomination is way more badass, and Hulk wouldn't stand a chance against him. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. I don't like seeing those two versions of the characters next to each other when that Hulk is just outgunned.
Yeah,
well, you got one question to ask yourself: is this version of Blonsky or Abomination more controlled? Because he is friends with Wong, so I mean, maybe
I think that's part of what they give us. I think that's part of what that scene set up, him controlling himself.
Right. Maybe they're saying he's more controlled now, so he can hang with Bruce and not try to kill him.
So the idea is weaken Abomination so that he's as low as they've brought Hulk. That sucks.
Well, we don't know yet. So that's what I'm saying. We can't. Here's the thing. We're not going to get into that speculation territory because we just have to see how we haven't seen She-Hulk yet. We just know that he's going to be there.
I'm nervous,
we don't know
bro.
how long he's going to be there. I'm not. We don't know how long he's going to actually be there or how they're going to use the character. But again, it's going to be a setup for the Thunderbolts. They're planting these seeds for a particular reason. We just have to follow the journey to see how it plays out. Once we get to this iteration, we get to this movie, because again, we still got time. It's still early stages in early production. So there's still more things to be revealed. There's still more members that might get revealed as well.
And some of that will probably happen in She-Hulk. I think we're going to start to get the groundwork laid.
Yeah, because we got Titania that's going to actually be in.
And that's coming in August, right? She-Hulk is in August. And that looks good. I like the trailers. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's going to be a decent show. But anyway, like I said, we know this is coming. I'm excited about it. Just to see, how they play out. Hopefully, like I said, it's going to be good. We need something that's going to be good. My question is to everybody, real quick, not to derail. Today is Monday. Who out there, besides, I'm guessing us on this panel, how many of you out there got your Thor Love and Thunder tickets for the first day?
Oh, I got mine already. Fandango, I'll show you mine. Fandango. Shout out Fandango.
How many people out there? Let me know out there in the chat who's going day one to see Thor Love and Thunder. Who's going day one to see that? Because I know I am. It would be a disservice if we didn't. My daughter. I talked to my daughter today. She was like, she got to work. Then she called me back. She's like, what time is it? I said 7:30. She said, I'm gonna get off early. I was like, all right, I'll get your ticket. So the only thing is, I got 2 tickets, not knowing. So now I have to figure out how to get the 3rd ticket, and she can sit with us. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely figure it out. But anyway, it's exciting, man. I got mine. I'm so happy. Wait a minute. I had to buy 42 tickets for Love and Thunder. What? One pouch, 42 tickets. What? You bought 42 tickets? It's crazy because there's 42 people watching. You bought 42 tickets, man? Really?
Wow,
bro. That's incredible.
That's a giveaway.
That is incredible.
That's a tax write-off.
It has to be a tax write-off, bro. I hope you're getting your money back for that, man. Or that people basically send you the money to get them tickets, bro. That's wow. Renz Talentino, Thor is releasing 2 days earlier in the Philippines. So excited. They always do that, man. Like they always do that.
Early, man.
I'll get it extra early, man. That's super dope. I'm happy there for you, brother.
That's dope.
I'm happy there for you, brother. So yeah,
it'll be there Thor's Day. That's what it is. Thor's Day.
You're going on Thor's Day
instead of Thursday. Thor's Day. I see what you did there. I like that. Anyway, that's he said. What did he say? My crew on Thor's Day, and my family on Saturday. I feel you.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it, man. Separate it.
Get everybody to go.
Separate it. You know what I mean?
You go with your crew that you can geek out with first and get that out of the way. Then you go with the kids who, if you have to run them to the bathroom or nothing, like it's cool. You already seen it.
Butt naked, are you buying your tickets right now? Are you buying your tickets right now?
Yeah, he just did.
No, I'm considering. No. Well, I'm not. So I haven't bought my tickets.
Fandango just now.
No.
Quiet.
I was thinking of something else. I haven't bought my tickets just yet because I don't know if I'm gonna be back here in Boston on the day of, or if I'm still gonna be in Jersey and see it down there. So I'm still figuring that out, and then I'll get my tickets. I'll probably get them tomorrow because I should know what I'm gonna do. Okay. But yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna be on when it drops.
How are you gonna dodge? How are you gonna dodge the spoilers, bro?
Well, no, I'm gonna see it day one. It's just a matter of I gotta figure out where I get tickets. Like, am I gonna be back here? I'll get them here. Am I gonna be down in Jersey? Then I'll get them down there.
Yeah, you said it's 119 minutes.
119 minutes long.
That's
it's funny. There's a lot of I didn't see the runtime, but I seen some article somewhere saying, "Oh my goodness, like Thor's under 2 hours by 1 minute." And now that you said it's 119 minutes, so okay. Well, it made it seem like it was going to be an hour or something.
All these comic book movies now are all like 2.5 hours long.
2.5 hours.
If it's a good 2 hours, I'm fine. It don't need to be 3 hours. It's not Infinity War.
As long as they tell a story, as long as Gore the God Butcher is told right, which probably won't be,
as it's
yeah,
flawless.
I mean, Christian
Justice League.
Bale. I
Snyder
think
cut.
he's going to crush this. He looks amazing. I
Yeah,
think
he
he's gonna
does.
crush this.
He does. Again, we'll see.
Yo, he plays Hulk Hogan. It's over.
Who? You talking about Chris
Hogan?
Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth, yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, yeah.
That's basically why he's on the regiment that he's on right now.
I will I will say this, not like getting into any specifics. I know Vinny doesn't watch stuff, but when they put the tickets up for sales, they did do another like 30-second teaser, and I'm just saying, Valkyrie. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. In the new suit.
I haven't seen it. Suit. I didn't see it.
Just the look, and then there's one little clip of Tessa Thompson is a literal goddess.
Hot Toys.
Like, she is.
Fucking
Valkyrie.
Shit. Oh my god.
She's definitely to be desired, man.
And she's in the upcoming 4th season of Westworld, so I can't wait for that.
Westworld. Vinny has close contact with her.
Okay, Vinny.
Westroom.
Westroom. Anyway, now we're going to divert the conversation to this. Last Wednesday, we got the world premiere of Miss Marvel, a show that really I was going to watch regardless. And, I watched Obi-Wan in the morning. And I didn't realize it was going to be as quick as it was. So I was like, you know what? I got some time. Let me actually watch Miss Marvel. And I myself was pleasantly surprised and happy. And I loved the show. I love her as a character. She's adorable, bro. She is adorable. She's a geek. I love her story. I love the chemistry between the characters. I followed it the whole way through. It kept me entertained. I also watched all the Easter eggs. I was excited about that. I think, so far in the response that he got, off the first episode and people who watched it, I think it's warranted from off the first episode. From what I saw, I loved it. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me when I say I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I cannot wait for next episode. I was hooked from the word go. Very excited about it. Vinny, I'm gonna start with you first, bro. What did you think about it, man?
Yeah, I have to admit, like, I haven't been as avid a reader the past few years as I used to be. Like, I still collect, but I'm always behind on reading, so I haven't read much of Miss Marvel's like solo run. A lot of it is mostly just stuff that I've read from her in Avengers, so I wasn't super familiar with her. I just knew the gist of the character, and I was curious on how they would approach the show. I imagined it would obviously be more of a kid-centric show, but I wasn't sure exactly how they would approach it. But I loved the feel and the tone of the show before anything really even got rolling. It felt like a Spider-Verse times like Scott Pilgrim versus the World type of like everything moving and alive and around and kinetic. It felt so kinetic. I loved the actual family dynamic. Like, it's really, I think one of the things that is really special about the show that people aren't talking about is there are very, very almost zero characters in comics who have parents, and she has a mother and a father, and that's really, really unique and as far as comic book storytelling goes. So I love that she has two parents. They care about her. They have helped mold and raise her with a certain set of values, and of course she's going through the growing pains of a culture that doesn't exactly always mesh well with American culture. And when kids who are born and raised here have that kind of clash with their parents about their freedom and coming into their own, but they have an entirely different struggle of being that even more, a little bit more strict grip on your kids. And that is a huge issue for many families that come here and don't want to lose their sense of history and generations of culture, and having their kids be Americanized or be wild, and then on top of that you have it's for girls also. So this has generated some of the the stupid ass woke comments, but the the thing that is frustrating about that is I feel like this show doesn't feel like it's for us, not for you. It feels like it's for us and you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some shows, and we've had conversations about her idol, Captain Marvel, being seemingly like this is for us, not for y'all, and rubbing people the wrong way. But I feel like this show feels like
it's
it
a
really
complete
is
opposite.
a family show.
It's a family show that's pretty much
like
welcoming people in. Yeah.
I feel like it invites everyone to enjoy it with her, and I love where they've gone so far. And I don't think that her history is super sacred to people where it's that big a deal that they changed her origins from being an Inhuman, which kind of sucks, but they sure as hell weren't going to use a show like this to backpedal and set up Inhumans to lead into this. It just wasn't going to happen. If they're going to do the Inhumans, it's going to be on a totally different set of terms. So I understand them getting away from that, and but otherwise that tone, story, acting, feel, I loved it, man. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect other than the obvious, but I was excited. It was really good.
Yeah. It hit on so many different beats. It was feel good, but at the same time, it gave us the elements that we needed. Again, somebody said it was sort of like a Miles Morales feel, which it definitely was. It was a bit of also a Peter Parker Spider-Man No Way Home feel to it, and I love that. I mean, because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a dark, gritty. No, it's supposed to be just the way it is. And it's welcoming in the audience, but it's telling a great story, and I love that about it so far. Jason, I'm gonna say you for last because I know you got some comments, but butt naked, your feelings, bro, because I know you thoroughly enjoyed it too.
Dude, I loved it. I loved it, and it's super faithful to the comic books. People don't realize how faithful. If you go, and I read the first handful of issues of her origin, Ms. Marvel, just recently again, because I bought a trade paperback for my daughter, and she read it and I read it, and then we watched the show together too. And there are literally lines of dialogue taken directly from those pages and used in this, the part where the father is like, if you don't stop praying long enough to put some food in your mouth, you're going to starve to death. That is literally taken from the comic book pages, right? That is the dialogue. I love the family dynamic in it. It's very accurate. And there, people like Vinny mentioned, people, complaining about her not being an Inhuman and stuff. One thing, the way they adapted it, remember, in the book, she got her powers, like she got hit with the Terrigen Mist when she went out to a party, and she ended up then saving the girl Zoe from drowning, right? Obviously, Terrigen Mist, that's not happening right now, and they got to tie it into what has already taken place in the MCU and Captain Marvel specifically. So instead of a party, it's a convention, a fan convention, which we can all relate to. We love them. We fucking go to them every chance we get. So that's so it's still like and her parents are even still calling it a party, right? Yeah. So that is it's a thing where they had to make a change, but they made it in full respect of the spirit of what was done in that comic book. And she even saves the girl Zoe using her powers in this, again, just not from drowning. Instead, it's from falling after getting hit by a big fucking paper mache Thor's hammer. So, but you know what? Like, people complaining about it not being Inhumans, man, honestly, and I saw a lot of it, and I just tuned it all out. Because I'm like, you know what? Like,
there's just no way they were going to use this.
Exactly. There's no way they were going to. If they tried to retcon Inhumans into the MCU, people would have bitched about that and said that it was shoddy, right? If they tried to make the ABC Inhuman show that everybody hated canon in order to make her an Inhuman in this, people would have hated that.
Exactly.
This was the most logical way for them to go, and there are still people who are going to hate it. And to me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm tuning that out because that doesn't even factor into my view of this show. It's just not even on my radar because the character herself is so faithful to the book in this. The actress they got, she is amazing. I love the fact that they're letting, and this is very evident, they're letting creators, directors, showrunners come in and within the larger MCU still put their own style and their own spin on these shows, because this is very different stylistically than anything we've seen in the MCU before. They're giving these creators the freedom to do that, and that I absolutely love. And the only other thing, I know some people were talking about it in the chat. People were comparing, oh, well, her powers, it's like to Green Lantern now. It's so, stupid. She's just getting it from like a bracelet instead of a ring. It's like there's a long history. There's a long history of characters in comic books getting their powers from an artifact, from something of cultural significance.
And this is canon. Her power now is coming from what is probably a version of the Negabands.
Yeah,
and now guaranteed they'll replace the name, because I guarantee you the cast is not going to. No one at Marvel is going to want their actors to go on press tours and have to say Negabands on any publication.
Reading it is different than having to say it out loud.
Reading it phonetically is a totally different thing. I'm sure they didn't think about that 50 years ago, but they will now.
People complaining about like the origin of the power set now, and with the and comparing it to Green Lantern. Like I said, well. Elsa Bloodstone gets powers from amulets from the White Tiger. Got his from an ancient heritage amulet. All right. Doctor Strange and other magical have used the Eye of Agamotto and other relics and stuff to draw their powers.
And the actual iteration of Moon Knight from your amulet as well.
So when the Ankh and the Scarab, and so when people when people complain about that and say, oh, they're just basically making her a Green Lantern. No, you don't know your comic book history, because there are countless characters who get their powers from something. And the way they did this is like, look, remember in the books, the being inhuman is part of her character, is part of, she becomes part of that, where like they're seen as outcasts, similar to, to mutants and stuff like that. Well, they tied the origin of her power set to her family history, right?
And we not yet know
her cultural background in Islam and stuff like that, which again, in the books, she gets made fun of in the books for that. Like when she goes to that party, the girl Zoe, she's like, oh, I didn't know you could party with us heathens. And, when they don't understand her religion. And so they're tying it to her identity in a way that is authentic, just because it's not 100%, what the comic books are. Like this thing is so faithful to who she is as an actual character that when people make those criticisms, I just tune out of it, because I just don't think that they're valid criticisms. I mean, they just go too far, and it's like, dude, they're doing. And the other thing is, you got to remember, and I sent you guys the video clip, and I loved it because she's a comic book nerd too, the actress, and she even said she's like, I love that I'm in the MCU, I love it, and thank you, Kevin Feige. But he's wrong. This is not the 616, right? Yeah. I loved that she said that. So the fact that she said that, it's like, you know what? This isn't the 616. So who cares if her powers come from the bracelet instead of being an Inhuman? Yeah. Right now, the Inhumans don't exist. And so we can't have our pie and eat it too, or cake and eat it too. Whatever. Like we're in a certain situation, and moving forward, somebody was like, oh, well, then just don't make the show because the character is not necessary. Well, it's bullshit. Because you know what, the character is necessary to Muslim girls out there who want to see themselves represented on screen, who want to see themselves represented in their heroes that they look up to, just like Black, just like Hispanic, just like white, just like Asian. And this character is a really good, rich character. Do we need any of them? No, they're comic book characters. These are comic book movies. But is there validity in having this character made, or are we just gonna wait and then maybe 10 years from now, if they introduce the Inhumans, then we do Ms. Marvel? No, fuck that noise.
Yeah, I think my thing is, I think you have to silence the noise. I mean, you got to go in this with a completely blank slate when it comes to social media, when it comes to, I guess, self-proclaimed critics. who, feel as though they have a degree in it. You know what I mean? You have to kind of just go into it with a clean slate and just enjoy it for you. Because
read those first 3 or 4 issues and tell me that it's not faithful.
Exactly. It is. And here's the thing. If you watch the show, you'll understand there were certain elements, and even the directors themselves, both directors themselves said this is the first phase of her powers. This isn't the actual final form. This is the first phase of her powers that she's seeing. Right. It's not the final form. So just understand that. You have to also even understand that with Captain Marvel, the iteration and the origin of how she received her powers were completely changed. But this is who we have right now, and we have to basically run with it. Same as possibly, same as Monica Rambeau.
If they're going with they're going with the bands from the comics, it transfers psionic energy into physical manifestation. So that opens the door. There's so many different powers that those bands can manifest depending on the wearer.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, you never know what her family origin is. Her mom, even watching the episode, her mom acted really curious when it came to her finding that band. You know what I mean? She wanted it hidden. She didn't really talk about it. And then when we saw her place and put it on, she went into, I would want to say, the Marvel's version of the Upside Down, where we saw something that was completely different and quick. So again, we never know where this is going. We just have to basically wait. But I think in general, this show so far, it got off to a great, amazing start. I love it. Jason, I know you've been patiently waiting. So what were your thoughts about it, bro?
I respect all you guys' opinions, and you guys are like my bros, and I appreciate your thoughts on the story. But as for me, one, I hate her predecessor and her. I hate Captain Marvel. Not this. Miss Marvel was cool. The show was okay. It passed. It didn't fail. I just wasn't impressed. One, I was turned off about not having the Terrigen Mist. I was turned off about her not being Inhuman. But I know they did it for their reasons for the setup in Humans later on in Marvel. That's just what it is. It was okay, but it was like seeing Spider-Man 4, and it was like seeing, like I said, Miles Morales, but just the female version, which is cool. I didn't think it was a woke thing. For people that are saying that, I mean, come on, you're an idiot. Like, there's nothing woke about this story. As a kid, a quirky kid, a nerdy kid in high school, it was cool from a cultural aspect with seeing a character in the MCU, like you said earlier. I think Vinny having both her mother and father at home and a brother. It was also cool from another cultural aspect, from the Muslim side of the spectrum, seeing that being introduced to the MCU. Even in the comics, was I hope she gets to wear like her hijab and her shamaz and stuff. That'd be pretty cool if they do that at some point with this story. I thought it was okay, man. I wasn't like over the moon with it. I mean, it didn't fail on my part. My daughter liked it because it was more geared for kids, I think. You know what I'm saying? It's like a kiddie show. Whatever. My kids liked it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not getting it like an F, but it just it had aspects of the comics, but then it didn't, and I know why, they had to change it up for whatever reason, but it is what it is, and it's not. I mean, it's okay. It didn't fail, as a first show. And I have a few. I think I have the first 4 books, and I stopped reading. I just wasn't interested. It wasn't for me, but I got them. Whatever. I can give them to my daughter later on when she gets older. But I mean, for right now, I mean, it's watchable. It's not one of my favorite Marvel shows by far. I mean, it's okay, but we'll see. It's only the first episode, so we'll see what happens later on down the line. But as far as the character and the actress, I think she did phenomenal. She's ballsy as hell too to say that, this is not 616. Like, it's your first show, first episode. Jesus Christ.
I heard she has Feige's number, and she constantly I heard she has Feige's number and she constantly texts him. She's like Peter
She
Parker.
calls him, bro.
Tony
Texts
Stark.
him, bro. That's crazy. It's ballsy. You got to give her that. She's ballsy as hell. So, you know,
but that just
as
shows
far as the
her
actress
commitment.
concerned, like I like her. I like her, you know, but just the show itself and just the
we're
first
about to see
episode was
her in
okay.
a lot more stuff. I'm telling you, after this show, her career is taking off.
Both her and America actresses are phenomenal new additions to MCU for sure.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. Yeah. This is, and Jason, you know, thank you for that, bro. I definitely appreciate and respect your opinion on it, man. Because I mean, this show is going to be subjective, not really for everybody, but you know, it does have a level of enjoyment that, you know, it's like a breath of fresh air for me. Like it's like a form that I feel good watching. You know, it's a feel good show for me. But this is the thing. I think all of us, fans, everybody, fans of the culture, fans of the MCU, fans of comics, by now we've gotten how many years of the MCU?
Like 12, 14,
13,
like that.
About 13 like years now. 13 to
Iron Man was
years.
What, like 2008, I think?
So we've gotten a couple of years now of the MCU. We have to understand now that things are definitely going to change. They are definitely going to change, and we're not going to get the same origin story or iteration that we got from the comics within reason, because they feel as though it's not going to translate well for certain reasons. If we had to adapt every story from the comics into the films, then we would get, it's like, listen, we know that in the books, we get like sometimes 12 edition origin, like 12 edition stories, sometimes even beyond that. So you have to understand that adapting those stories into the MCU, it's never going to happen the way we want it. I think by now we have to realize that that's not going to happen with this particular show in particular, because the thing is, like Vinny said, we got the worst iteration of the Inhumans before it was tagged to Disney, and he said, you know what, nah, even if you can still see it, but it's just not something that they like. Why would you actually associate this show with something like that when the story itself hasn't been fleshed out the right way? Exactly. It has never been fleshed out the right way. We haven't gotten the right story. Granted, they tried to give us an iteration of Black Bolt and Doctor Strange. Again, that story hasn't been fleshed off because we only seen them all for so many minutes. But at the same time, we haven't gotten a decent iteration of the Inhumans and an explanation of the Terrigen Mist, because even in the show itself, they didn't really talk about the shit at all. Yeah, to be quite honest, they didn't. Yeah. It was the worst iteration.
They put them in like a chamber or something. It wasn't the Terrigen Mist. It was something that it made their powers come on or some shit. It wasn't even Terrigen Mist. I was mad about that too. Like, come on, bro. It's not even Terrigen Mist.
They did a Terrigen Mist on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It wasn't exactly the way they've done in the comics, but it was a Terrigen Mist that was set off by the Terrigen crystal. Like, it was done.
I'm talking about on the Inhuman show that they didn't mention it.
Well,
they put them in like a tank or something, and their powers would activate or something.
On Adelan, they did, not Inhumans that came to be on Earth. Though.
Yeah, on
Those
Earth
were still different, you know. But
definitely, that'd have been such a mess to try to explain all that shit.
Exactly,
before.
It's like
I can't even imagine.
It's not a good story now.
They could have spent 3 episodes trying to explain that before we even get to know her. It just wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
look, I was pissed off that they had Tony Stark create Ultron. That's Hank Pym's.
Well, and
that's the thing, though. You got to, like what Leia was talking about earlier, though. It's like, there are certain characters like that when we get them, they're not going to be a 1-for-1 translation from the books, because you remember, like, early on at that point when Age of Ultron, like they weren't thinking Hank Pym and Ant-Man yet, because they were just originally they were just shocked that Iron Man was such a hit, right?
Iron Man
to
hit.
Bring in Ant-Man, you're like, they weren't there yet where they were confident in something like that. So they wanted, and at the time, Joss Whedon was doing that movie. He wanted to do Ultron. That's what he wanted. So if they were going to do Ultron and then fold it into the larger story that they were telling in the MCU at the time, this was way before they introduced Ant-Man. Then they had to figure out a way to make that work, and so they do have Tony Stark and Banner instead of Hank Pym. It's the same way that, like, look, I would love if you had like Ian McKellen, if you had like Magneto and his relationship with Wanda, right? But we haven't gotten that in the MCU because mutants don't yet exist in the MCU. So that's why it's like certain characters we know that because this was all new. Like, they didn't know that the MCU was going to be the beast that it is now, right? So they start with certain characters, and then they realize, okay, like we did a certain adaptation of this character, and we weren't bringing in these other characters, so they weren't part of their origin. And now we're bringing in those characters, so we have to modify it. So it's not going to be a 1-for-1 because they're tied to this character, but we've already been with this character for several years. So we've got to come up with new. That's just the nature of the game, is that those origins are going to shift and be malleable because they don't all get introduced at the same time. So their origins aren't always easily tied to one another the way you can in a comic book, because you can go back and draw panels in issues and comic books and flashbacks. It's harder to do it when you're doing it with movies and actors who age and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I think here's the thing, bro, like one of the reasons why, and really speak on what you were talking about, Jason, with Hank Pym, them not introducing, there was a reason why they didn't do it back then. It was really explained, is because of the, pretty much the, I want to say the baggage that character carried.
There's no way Disney was going to have a white in as superhero.
There wasn't going to do that because, again, he put his hands on Janet Van Dyne. You know what I mean? So again,
my kid went to the comic book shop saying, "Can I find some Ant-Man comics?" And I was like, "Look, Mom."
And exactly because of that story, it was a torture story because he did beat her. You know what I mean? So again, they didn't want that iteration in the comics, so that's why they didn't make it that way. They didn't want to have it. That's why they changed
it like they've done everything else when they introduced characters. Look how they changed Kamala.
But
they could have changed. They could have changed Hank for the better.
Well, the thing they did. They did, but it took time. The thing is, there's a reason why they did it the way they did, because you have to gracefully bring the character in with a story that's going to kind of match, and it's not going to have a checker past. And this is why they did it that way. And I completely understand it. I understand why they did it that way. Yes,
I understand it now. Just back then,
but it's just like, do you understand, especially now with the narrative that's being, thrown out there now, people find out about the character, and then that history comes up, and then that basically is a tagline to that character. They didn't want to do it that way. So, I mean, again, we know what it is, but again, I rested on the assumption back then that, look, we're not going to see the iteration that we want. We just have to live with it and kind of move on and just say, you know what?
Why MCU is not 616.
Exactly. Exactly.
But also, I like the fact that obviously it's hit or miss. Some things and some things we'll love and some things we'll hate. But I like the fact that it's not 1-for-1 what's in the comics, because then I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. I don't know exactly how they're gonna, like Baron Zemo in Civil War was very different than what we got in the comics. But I liked what they did with that character. It was emotional. It was powerful. They came up with a really good way to tie him with Bucky and with Tony and with Cap in a way that we hadn't seen before. And I thought it was brilliant. So that's why we're always going to go back and forth between we want it to be faithful and we want something to be new. And there are going to be times where they give us something new and we love it, so we're okay with the departure. And then they're going to give us something new and we hate it, and they're like, why didn't you stick to the original? Ultimately, it's just like it's a case-by-case basis and whether or not we like it, and that's just how we are as fans. I think we can't vilify innovation.
I think the important part is that if they're changing it to try to put an interesting twist on it, as opposed to, this is putting my stamp on it, like a lot of execs and suits do to make it theirs, so that they can say, I decided to change it up this way.
That's what I don't like.
To justify their salary on some soup type shit.
Right.
But
yeah.
For the most part, I feel like what we've seen especially in MCU is them trying to change things, not just to say they changed them, but so that way, it keeps the fans on their toes too. So that way, when we're going to the theater and we're seeing, the stories, especially when they give this damn movies the titles of trades that we've read, of arcs that we've read, that we're not going, okay, well, he's gonna die, he's gonna live, and
Captain America shot.
Civil War. You're not going into it going, oh, Nebula gets the gauntlet and puts everything back. No, it's now it's different.
That's exactly why, as much as I love the Winter Soldier, I was like, that shouldn't have been called the Winter Soldier, because I'm thinking the Ed Brubaker comic book run, and I'm like, that was not the Winter Soldier story.
Nothing
it was
like
still a great movie. I love it.
It was great.
But Vinny, exactly what you said, dude, is like people who. So I run my own video business, and I constantly have clients where, like, I'll work on a gig, I'll work on a project for somebody, and then I'll give it to them, and they've got like 7 or 8 people within the company that all have to give their feedback and make sure they sign off and stuff like that. Ultimately, it's only like 1 or 2 people that really make the final calls on everything, but those 5 or 6 other people all feel like, well, I got to justify my salary. So even though they don't know shit, or there's really nothing wrong, they have to come up with something to be like, well, what if we did this? Or do you really think that's a good thing? When it doesn't matter, and they don't even really believe it. They just have to be seen as voicing an opinion that makes a contribution,
like
in
you
some
said,
way.
To justify your salary. And
justifying the salary.
You see that in corporate America everywhere. Anybody who's ever worked anywhere,
I deal with it on a regular basis.
Anybody who's ever worked anywhere from retail to IBM has had some rule or law or change handed down from someone who probably just felt like they were sitting in their office and had to justify their salary, so they made a change that they didn't even agree with, but they had to be doing something, otherwise what are they there for?
And you're going to have execs at movie studios that are going to do shit like that.
And also, Jason, you have to, and not just you, Jason, but everybody has to basically understand too. There were rights to characters that the MCU didn't have earlier.
That's what I was getting right. That's what I was about
and
to
they
say.
Couldn't make those choices. They couldn't bring certain things on. They don't have the characters that we're seeing right now. They didn't have rights to until they got Fox. You know what I mean? Until basically they worked with Sony. So again, it's a here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that the stories that we would have actually wanted, the iterations of stories that we would have wanted, if
would have been awesome.
Everything was under one umbrella, we probably would have saw a bit more. We'd have basically saw a standalone Hawk film already. That would have been done. We'd have probably saw World War Hawk already. We'd have probably got the Namor that we wanted. We would have damn well got a Fantastic Four film by now. But everything has its place. It has its place.
Like you said,
that's what had me. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's what had me so upset about Ultron at the time, was because I didn't realize that they didn't even have the rights to Hank Pym yet. Because they couldn't even mention Hank Pym in any of the comics before that.
Well, they had the rights to Hank Pym. It was more that the situation they didn't want to use him at the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, he even had the Ultron that they used for the movie, even had the Ant-Man looking face helmet. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, like
it was like an homage, like for comics. So one thing though that in the chat, Tobor mentioned it's about new fans, not old fans. See, I disagree with that, and I think that does apply to the mentality that Disney and Lucasfilm take when it comes to Star Wars. It's different when it comes to comic books, right? Because the thing is, you got to realize, like, the new fans are like they're our kids that we're getting into comics, reading the books that we grew up reading. Like my daughter, I bought the trade paperbacks of Ms. Marvel, read them. We watch the show together, like bringing my kids into that. Like, so comic books is more of that kind of familial, like legacy type thing to get into. And the thing is, those new fans, the new fans are, the kid first. Well, we all buy toys, so I can't really say it, but like the new fans are the ones that like the parents are buying more books and buying toys for and stuff like that. But they get into it through us, right? There's no generation before has been more like brought into reading comics by their parents than now, because we were like that generation that grew up with these seminal books, and now we're bringing our kids into it. And when you look at these storylines that they're adapting for these books, they're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, right? So that's the newer reader, the newer fan, they have no idea about those stories, right? Like when they get like even when you had the X-Men in the Fox universe, okay, they were doing the Phoenix Saga. These kids didn't know shit about the Phoenix Saga. The Phoenix Saga was when we were kids. So so it is absolutely, it's for both. But this, more than any other IP or any other property in general, when it comes to sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, stuff like that, relies on the fans that have been around for 30, 40 years and bringing their kids into it, even way more so than Star Wars. So they have to hit those tones that ring for us before they can even do that for the kids, because if it doesn't, then we're maybe less likely to bring our kids into seeing something. Like if they do a really crappy movie or TV show, I might not tell my daughter to watch that. I might just be like, here, read the book that they should have made. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
There's very few successful superhero films that comic book readers don't enjoy. So it goes hand in hand. You know
I think though,
old heads are a bridge to new fans. When we're really excited and hyped about something, that bleeds out into the mainstream Joe public. I mean, when the geeks are excited about something, we're constantly talking about it, hyping it up, bringing our family, and that doesn't happen when it's a movie that bombs. No matter how hard they try to just focus on the casual viewer, there's a few instances where a movie succeeds without the loyal fans and source material, but there's very, very few instances of that. For the most part, it's as long as they're trying to make both happy and not just the casuals happy, that's the plan of attack.
And that's what I think it is.
Just the old heads happy, I mean the comic
this is why
happy, that's when it works.
This is why I like what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 guys that have a deep seated comic book history, figure history, that love the movies, love them, hate them, whatever. We give honest opinions about how we feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't think that people do that enough. They go with what they see on, this guy's saying it sucks, so it must suck. You have to go and see the shit for your stuff for yourself and experience the stuff for yourself. And you give honest opinions, bro. That's how you do things, man. I mean, I don't know, especially coming from a comic book film and you're a comic book fan, give your honest opinion about how you feel about the film. I don't know. Like I said, that's how I am with this stuff.
You're supposed to. I think one of the biggest things too is the simple fact that there is a bridge, and they're trying to bridge that gap between us as being tenured fans and new. Because the thing is, it's like, bro, they have to, because who's going to carry on the legacy? You know what I mean? Like they have to. After we're gone, it's the next generation. How do you do it? Is you're introducing these films, you're introducing these shows that will make them go back, read source material, and say, well, it wasn't like this in a book. Well, you're finding out now. You're finding out certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it does spark those. It helps to spark those conversations. It helps to broaden the horizon when it comes to like the lore itself. I just think that with us, we're more passionate about it because of what we want to see, what we think that we should see. And what we've been exposed to for so many years. I think at the end of the day, like, with us and having a show like this, having multiple different shows out there, we're able to kind of fill in the gaps where people might have those questions. You know what I mean?
The big difference with us, the big difference with us is people our age have been readers far longer than superhero films have been popular. So the big difference with younger fans is, even if they do read comics, they're reading and seeing all these movies at the same time. So they don't have 20, 30 years of just reading comics and having maybe one superhero movie every 4 years, like Superman,
right,
78,
right.
or or Batman.
They're not so invested in and tied to the stories that they've read for 20 years like us.
They're getting two different media, and it doesn't feel as foreign to them because they're growing up with the films and the books at the same time, whereas we just had the book. Like, imagine if they didn't make a Harry Potter movie until now, and all the kids who've been reading Harry Potter since they were, for 30 years, they'd be way more critical. But for the most part, people who grew, my nephew's generation growing up reading Harry Potter and pretty much seeing the movies just a few years after each book was made. So they are able to love both so much more than if they just now decided to make a Harry Potter movie. They'd have so much more, they'd be so much more critical of everything. These younger generations, they have the luxury of the fact that virtually nothing is off the table. That, I mean, we grew up hoping that one day we get fucking Spider-Man. Who would have thought that would have been something that would be tough?
Right.
I just want to give credit to Toya for dropping a little Montel Jordan in the chat. So,
but see, you look at how we did things back in the day, bro. We go to the mom and pop shops, you buy comic books, you sit there and read, or you buy them and take them home and read. There was no social media in between. There was no political view in between. There was no agenda in between, or this woke bullshit in between. You just read the books, you enjoyed them, and you had fun. Now they have all that stuff in between reading the books. You know what I'm saying? They're so critical on everything with the books, bro, and it sucks because you're cutting away the enjoyment of reading the comic book. You know what I'm saying? You're cutting away the fat and the fulfillment of reading a book or a story that you enjoy. Now it's so much bullshit in between. It's like I don't know. This generation has a lot. I don't know if they can even focus on reading.
Well, here's the thing, bro. It's they can, and you be quite honest, bro. You'd be surprised about this generation and what they're able to do and the reading material that's out there that they're, they are. We live in a digital world now. We know the landscape has changed. People are too lazy. So basically,
it's not even limited to younger generations, though, because look at the people. There are grown ass men and women in this chat that are Hot Toys collectors that love the MCU, but didn't have a really deep background in comic books. Have come in here, learn shit based on what we've talked about over these weeks and months, and then they have gone and started reading books themselves when they're 40 years old, 50 years old.
That's true.
So it's still open to everybody. There are people who were introduced to these characters through the movies and are now just going back and experiencing them in a new way in actual
for the first time.
That they're walking into their local comic book shop for the first time, and on Wednesdays they smell that new comic book smell, and they never experienced that shit before. So
I love that we pushed that out there,
everybody. Bro. Yeah, it's open to everybody. It's just and that's also one of the things that Marvel wants to happen. They want these films to make people start buying more comic books and be more invested and have that cyclical nature. So, I mean, we kind of help serve that purpose because, people who love these but want to know more, they don't know where to jump in on things. It can be daunting, but they're using that as a way to get people into all of this shit. And,
Real quick, shout out to CT603. So becoming a brand new YouTube member, man. Thank you very much for that, bro. Definitely appreciate it.
And he's got a Chrome Trooper.
I like that. I was about to say that too.
My guy.
That Chrome
good guy. Good
I'm
man.
Guessing,
Did you order
I ordered two. I'm guessing they ordered one.
They ordered one. Good man. Good man. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Look, at the end of the day, getting back to the show. All right. Getting back to this show. It is a very entertaining show. I love it, and I love that you have the passion in this girl. She is, bro. I can't. She is mesmerizing on screen because of her passion. She's infectious, and she is such a bro. But believe this or not, this is her first feature show. This is her first feature role.
Doing good,
she's never acted before this. So this is right. This is incredible.
She's got this charisma that you can't teach. That it's just like
does.
She got chops.
It's in her. Like
she has it. She has it, and it's so infectious, bro. She is definitely going to go places.
Look at the MCU launch in careers, though. When you think about it, like Tom Holland, you know, there are these there's so many young characters, like who eventually, whenever, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a live action Miles Morales. I feel like, you know what? Same thing. Don't give me a Jaden Smith. Don't give me somebody that we know. I want this. I want the superstar of tomorrow. I want the superstar of tomorrow because she is proof that, like, holy shit, like this is where it's at. Like, give us somebody like this. You know what? Like, we're seeing some really great, you know, child actors coming up, you know, in this generation. You've got the girl who's playing Leia. All right, but then the dude, the kid that played the younger version of Ryan Reynolds on the Adam Project on Netflix, that kid held his own with Ryan Reynolds in scenes. And now he's the lead on Disney Plus's Percy Jackson series that they're doing, right? That kid is vaulting, right? And that show's supposed to be like faithful to the Percy Jackson books rather than what they did with the original movies. So like, like give us an unknown to play Miles Morales. Give us an unknown to play some of these younger characters. Like I'd never seen the kid that they got to play Isaiah's grandson on Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? Yeah. Let's see this kid in that role. Let's see what he can do. I'd rather the unknowns and discover these amazing stars than try and shoehorn like again a Jaden or somebody like that into those roles.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Dude, I keep checking my tracking. I'm watching. I believe Wednesday should be here.
So did they finish? Did they fix the base? Vinny, they had a problem with the base or something.
Vinny,
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
Vinny,
I hear you.
Okay,
Vinny.
So bro, let me ask you.
Come on, bro, Vinny.
So we're talking about Miles Morales.
Looks like an Alex
No, we gonna get back. I just want to throw this up real quick because I needed Vinny to see this real quick. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
It's dope.
So with Miles Morales, right? We're talking about the one from the game. Why can't they get the actor that did him to play a live action? Is it because of contracts with Sony?
Well, there's nothing saying that he's not. They haven't announced who was going to be Miles.
They haven't said anything about it yet.
Yeah, I think.
Well, we know.
You're talking about Jaden Smith, bro. I just don't want that. I don't want that.
Who's they though? It's just Jaden wants to do it, so that's the story. That's how media works now.
Yeah.
If Jaden goes on an
interview
and says, "Man, I'd love to play Miles Morales," you read a headline tomorrow that says, "Jaden Smith is Miles Morales."
If they get that kid,
that's all it takes.
If they get that kid from the PS5 game, bro, I think I would lose.
Najee something. I can't remember his last name, but yeah,
he is perfect.
He was great. Like the doors open. Like I consider him an unknown though, right? Because he's not an unknown, Jaden. He's not like a Hollywood like everybody knows his name kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, I consider him an unknown. Absolutely, I'm all for a really good voice actor playing a role. That's why I love the fact that the original voice actors from the Last of Us game, you know, you got Troy Baker and Ashley, what's her name, that they're going to be playing, obviously not the characters that they played in the main characters.
They should have been, man.
But they're playing significant roles in the Last of Us TV show on HBO. Like, not just cameos. They're in this fucking show, right?
Oh, they're going to be in the show? The girl and the OG guy?
So, So I like that because it gives you that, you know, there are some phenomenal voice actors in video games that also do the mocap and stuff like that would be great in a lot of films and a lot of TV shows. So I'm all for them doing that. That absolutely 100% like go for it. So if they were to cast that kid, so if they were to cast that kid, I'd be totally fine with it. Because I consider him an unknown because I don't think voice actors in video games have gotten the respect that they really deserve in comparison to traditional acting. Yeah. So let him, you know, come in and do it, or somebody else. But like I don't, like I said, and I'm not saying I hate Jaden Smith. He was the name that was associated with it. I just don't want somebody like that.
The kid
that
is
comes
kind of
in
annoying.
With, I know
he's annoying as hell.
All right, I don't really like him. I was just trying not to be a dick, but like,
Come on, bro. You gotta send my stuff, man. I got to put that in the frame, bro. Like that thing is, I need that.
Yeah, bro. You can get yours on vincentdunnart.storenovy.com today.
That's it. Boom.
Just make sure to not have Lael handle the shipping because it might get to you in like 20 years or so.
20 years.
Yeah, probably. I'm a busy man.
You got mine over there.
Busy man. I'll get to it,
man.
You know what? You can save.
You know what? As a matter of fact, nope. As a matter of fact, Toy is listening. I'm mailing all these on Wednesday. Every last one of them. Every last one of them.
You said you got mine, bro.
You can save the postage and just hand deliver it when you guys come up in August. So for the con. That's all you gotta do. Listen. That's all you gotta do.
Vincent Dunn Art. Vincent Dunn Art. Miles Morales is my guy.
Oh shit! Let me see that shirt. Let me see that shirt.
Yes.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Yeah, we got this at a shop. Me and Toya got this. We got this at this spot in Lancaster. As a matter of fact, at the Lancaster, the capital, the Park City Mall in Lancaster. Yeah, so
I'm about to pick up some new shirts on Heroes and Villains. They got some really good shirts with like Lee Bermejo art and some others.
Yeah,
like I'm about to pick up that look fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yo, Vinny, could you put the link in the Make sure you put your link in the chat real quick.
I'll throw it in there.
Yeah, throw it in there real quick so everybody can see.
Why you gotta whisper it all creepy as fuck like?
He's like, God damn. He did that. He's the voice in the truck.
Yeah.
He did
come buy some ice cream from me, kid.
What you guys? He's like, why you gotta whisper it creepy?
It puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the basket.
Damn lotion in no basket. Anyway, everybody out there,
down
man.
in the hole. It puts the print in the mail.
Go the hole. Shut up. It's been a great.
It puts the print in the mail. I like it.
Listen,
puts the lotion on his body.
Listen, it's been a great show.
Bad.
Everybody out there. Everybody out there, it's been a great show. Thank you all for watching. Man, again, we'll be back here next week to have the discussion about episode 2. So yes, definitely it's going to be a great one, man. Again,
talk about Obi-Wan.
I'm just going to start off the top again. Make sure that you tune in on Wednesday. Say what. We're going to be talking about, figure releases, stuff like that. On Thursday, there's going to be Uncivilized Scoundrels on my man Mario's channel. Stay tuned for that. And also Figure Flex Friday and back here on Sunday. Exactly. Figure Flex Friday and back here on Sunday for Collectors Lounge International. So basically stay tuned for that. Real Rally, Mr. Butt Naked, tell people what they can expect from you, bro.
I am just anticipating my my Iron Man getting here, man. That's been my most.
Let me put it up again.
That's been my most anticipated figure for a while. I know people hating on like the clear plastic they put over parts of it. I don't give a fuck. This looks like an Alex Ross painting come to life.
I need Vinny to see this.
I love the fuck out of it. I'm getting.
That shit got two masks and everything.
I'm probably gonna. I have one coming. Should be here Wednesday. I'm probably gonna end up picking up a second one. I fucking love this thing.
We need Vinny to see this real.
Oh, yours already shipped.
Yeah, mine too. Me and his will be here on either Wednesday or Thursday.
Mine, it should be Wednesday. I think it'll be Wednesday. So yeah, dude, I'm buying. Like, that's crazy. I'm probably getting a second.
Now,
one I love this.
Is that die cast under plastic?
Yeah, the figure is die cast.
The figure's die cast. It just has the plastic over top of it.
The plastic.
Some of the plastic pieces are removable, not all of them. But like I said, I don't care.
Did you get the deluxe version or did you get the?
Oh fuck yeah!
Hell yeah, deluxe version.
With that, come on, dude. With the briefcase and the mask.
Yeah, Vinny.
Dude, it is so good. I'm telling you right now, I am making. There's gonna be a long Naked Truth video on this one because
Vinny, look at this, bro.
Dude, that thing is fire.
Look at this, Vinny.
It is.
That's straight.
Amazing.
That's straight. That's straight Alex Ross.
Look at that, Vinny. Yep. Look at that, bro.
So
Vinny,
yeah,
look at this piece, bro. This piece is
that is what I'm looking forward to this week.
Vinny.
Like I said,
yes.
And it should be here on Wednesday, which is New Comic Book Day. So that's just gonna be a great day.
Toyswonderland.com. You can purchase yours today.
So I've got this coming.
You gotta get this piece.
Yep. got this coming, and then
you already ordered Luke Skywalker. You gotta get Iron Man piece, bro. Look at that shit.
Dude,
Vinny, look at this,
is an
bro.
absolute must. And then for everybody,
that is
just
phenomenal, bro.
For everybody that I was talking about this with Lael or texting earlier today, is on the collecting streams and stuff, and even in like this one when comics and movies and stuff, we've talked a lot about like diversity or lack thereof in collectibles and stuff like that. So if you're a Trek fan out there, you should be aware of them anyway, but go check out and buy shit from X06 because they're putting out amazing Star Trek figures, but they're also doing justice to a lot of people of color and female characters that don't get a lot of shine in the 6-scale community like we know from certain major companies, but they're making Captain Sisko, they're making Sulu, they're making 7 of 9 and Dr. Crusher, they're making the Emperor Georgiou, they're making Michael Burnham, they're making a lot of these characters of all different ethnicities, genders that we just don't get that representation in a lot of other collectibles. So if you're a Trek fan and a 6-scale fan and you like to have diversity in your collection, then definitely, help support X06 because they're doing a really good.
I wonder, does that whole head sculpt come off with the neck? Because I got a Tony Stark. I got some extra head sculpt. I'm going to put an unmasked one on there.
So I'm not sure because
it's separate.
There are 2 masks that you can do, and the plastic that goes over the back, the red part of the head is removed. But I don't know if the whole head removes or just the faceplate. I think
the
it's
visor,
just the faceplate.
the face.
Yeah,
Bro, that's Alex Ross all day. That's Alex Ross.
I got a perfect Tony Stark head sculpt for that thing. That thing comes off.
There's plenty of hate on this thing, but you know what? I'm telling you, this is going to be one of my releases of the year.
It's not made for everybody, but it's made for me.
And I would love it if they actually did the War Machine that they teased. I have a feeling they won't, because people were sour on the plastic parts on this one. But fuck it, I don't care. I love this one, and I want them to do.
And you know what? This shit gonna sell out fast. Watch.
Yeah.
It's going to sell out quick.
For MB Dyson, who asks in this, why the clear plastic? Is it supposed to be a force field? 2 things. One, it's actually a collaboration with an artist in Japan, I think it is. And this was kind of their interpretation. But in the comics, back in when he was wearing an armor similar to this, one of the early ones, there was a run where for a brief time he had an armor that generated like a crystalline force field as another layer of defense. They haven't come out and said it, but I believe that is where the inspiration for this came from. And love it or hate it, I fucking love the figure.
I love what they did with this picture right here.
That's a hell of a photo shoot, I tell you that.
Like this right here, what they did right here is fucking phenomenal, bro.
With the hip disc, they look dope,
bro. Vinny,
it's a stellar release. I'm
Vinny, so
now we have coloring. This. All we need is a superior Iron Man next. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be great. But I'm telling you, so I'm putting together like an OG character kind of. So I'm gonna have this guy right here with the 2012 Endgame cap, the original
sideshow Thor.
The original. I don't like that one, but the original Avengers Hulk. I'm gonna be putting these classic iterations together. And
did he get off?
Good.
Did he leave?
Who?
Vinny. He said, "I don't want to look at that no more."
No, he's there. But it's
too much pressure.
This figure is great. I absolutely love it. I can't
wait. It's a phenomenal piece, man.
Think about like this. Think about you put them all together. You think about this guy, the 2012 Endgame cap, the original Avengers Hulk, and the classic suit Spider-Man from the PS5, PS4 game, right? You put all those together, you're starting to get a pretty good classic comic book kind of team there.
Yo. Anyway, Vinny's pulling out some shit. If he's going through a box, while he's doing that, Jason, tell us what you got going down, bro. What you got? What's coming up, man?
I got all the figures I was supposed to get last week. I think I ordered this guy a while ago, so I'm waiting for him to ship.
Yeah.
What else do I got? I got some customs I'm doing for my Agent 47.
Yeah.
That thing, did you guys pick that up?
I didn't, but it looks good. It looks good.
That Hitman is awesome, bro. I
What,
ordered
the Hitman that you purchased? I saw it. It was decent, bro.
Yeah, I ordered the was it the P911 Glocks with the silencers. I ordered those. I'm gonna get them here and I'm gonna customize them. I'm gonna put the H on the side on the hand grips for them.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Are you into Trek? Are you into Trek?
Yeah, bro. I'm looking for a good Kirk and Spock. That's all I want. That's my two favorites.
Are you kidding me?
XO6.
Old school.
XO6.
Oh, you got them already? What the hell, dog?
Yeah, you knew I liked that piece because it's like this one.
Wait.
Hell yeah. Hold up. Let me put
that's
it
the
up.
other Spock. That's the reverse Spock.
This is the mirror Spock. Yeah.
Look at
that's the mirror Spock.
Yeah, mirror Spock.
But
look at that.
That's fire.
So yeah, that's definitely one.
That's fire. For sure. So it's definitely comic.
Yeah, man.
Vinny, I might have to get a print from you, bro.
Jason,
I might have to get that print.
You know that's part of that's part of the triple threat, right?
I'm gonna have to get that print. I'm gonna have to get that print.
Let me see it, Brendan. You got Kirk, Brendan?
No, they haven't released Kirk, but they're making the original Kirk. They're making the motion picture, the first movie.
And then
wow.
And then hold on, give me 1 second. Wow. I'll come back.
Why you doing that? Why you doing that? Go ahead.
That thing is dope, bro. I gotta get. I want the OG Spock and the OG. That's the mirror. That's dope, man.
Yeah, that's dope.
He was ruthless when he was a mirror version.
Right. I have from First Contact. I have Data and I have Picard. I've got Cisco from DS9 on pre-order. Q from the Next Generation is coming. Sulu, Mirrorverse Sulu. But they've already shown the full. Michael Burnham from Discovery. But they've already shown they're doing Kirk from the original motion picture. They're doing Kirk from the original series. Mm-hmm. They're doing Kirk from Wrath of Khan with like the red jacket and everything.
Oh, what they're
doing? They're doing Spock, McCoy, and Kirk from Wrath of Khan. They're also doing what's his name when Christopher Lloyd played the Klingon villain on the third movie, Search for Spock. They're doing that Klingon.
Search for.
They're doing like everything.
Back in the Future, the guy that played the Doc.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd, yeah.
He's doing like if you just look at XO6, they're doing literally, they're dropping them like crazy. Like they'll put the pre-order up, and then 2 months later it ships. Like it's
does he come with a lot? Does he come? Didn't he have a sword in that episode?
He comes with the knife. The knife, and then he also comes with a phaser, and those magnetize on. Like those, they pop right off and they magnetize.
Oh, that's not under his belt.
Nope,
that's a magnet.
Yeah, same thing with the phaser on the other side.
Oh, that's dope, bro.
Look at that. That's fucking amazing.
He looks like. I mean, that's spot on. That's spot on. Spot.
Everything about like the boots, like.
Dope.
Dude, XO6 is absolutely crushing it. They're gonna do all the characters. They're doing from every Star Trek property. They're doing like the J.J. Abrams movies. They're doing all the TV shows. Yeah, they're doing like 3 different versions of Pike. They're doing Pike from.
I like Strange New Worlds, bro.
They're doing Pike from the new show. They're doing Pike from the original series, like the pilot episode, and then Pike in the wheelchair after he's maimed.
No, after he gets messed up.
Yep, they're doing all 3 of them.
Oh, bro.
They're making Dr. Crusher. Everything. Yeah. Every character you can think of, they are making them.
Dope.
So I heard Kirk's going to be on this show, too.
Yeah.
Oh. Real quick, though, we're going to, because like I said, we're going to close this out here. Vinny, what you got going on, bro? What you got coming up, man?
Oh, man. Trying to find more time to draw, but just working on, getting these, main business stuff done and just enjoying all these shows that we got. I mean, I'm enjoying Boys, Miss Marvel, Kenobi. There's so much going on. So just catch us of course always on Comic Book Talk with Friends on Mondays, and also we'll be on Mario Show for Uncivilized Scoundrels Talk Kenobi episode 5 this Thursday.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Everybody out there, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for watching. We will be back here next Monday for episode 2 of Miss Marvel. More discussions. By then, I will have my Iron Man comic concept in hand, so I might show y'all in person after we do like a live unboxing. But anyway, thanks everybody for actually being on board and coming on board, man. Everybody out there in the chat for supporting the channel from day one. A1s always, every day. So we love y'all. Again, next week, we will be back here for another comic book talk with friends next Thursday. Do expect that. We will see y'all again next week. We love y'all. Until then, stay classy, collect them comics. We love y'all, and we will see y'all next week.